Am I doing this for myself? Is it something that I want? Or am I doing it for somebody else? You see that challenges are actually part of the process. Hi, this is Jim Breon. Welcome to this YouTube channel where we discuss all things mental health. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and licensed professional clinical counselor in Orange County, California. What I'm going to be talking about today is setting goals, creating change in our lives. And I think that's a real struggle for many people for lots of different reasons, and want to kind of go into maybe one specific way that it can make it easier for you. Often when we think about creating change, we think about people setting New Year's resolutions. At the end of the year, you decide that I'm going to set a goal for myself, and it might be I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to start to exercise, I'm going to go back to school, whatever that goal is. The sad fact is that many times when we set a resolution for ourselves at the end of the year, we end up not meeting those goals, and then we feel bad about ourselves. There's lots of reasons for that. Sometimes the goal is too big. It might be too amorphous. Not quite sure what I mean by that. I mean, how do I lose weight? How am I going to do that? How am I going to go back to school? It's kind of general. We may not be ready to change. We might not be in the stage of change where we're actually ready to start moving into action. And we may not really understand why we want to make that specific change. So for all those reasons, there is a specific way that you can set goals for yourself that I think can be really helpful. And we call it making SMART goals. So now SMART is an acronym, S-M-A-R-T, that stands for making your goals specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And it can be kind of a template for setting goals and defining your intentions and putting those intentions into practice. So I'll break it down. The S in SMART stands for specific, meaning that rather than creating some general goal for myself, like I'm going to lose weight this year, or I'm going to start getting better sleep, or I'm going to go to bed earlier, getting very specific about it. Deciding, okay, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going to bed 15 minutes earlier every night, and I'm going to finally get to bed at 10 o'clock every night. I'm going to practice sleep hygiene. I'm going to turn the lights down a couple hours before I go to bed. I'm going to get away from screens that keep my brain awake. I'm not going to keep the TV on in the room. I'm not going to do food or alcohol for 2 hours before I go to bed. Those are very specific things that then you can start to track as far as your progress. If your goal is to, reduce my anxiety, again, that's kind of a broad goal. So maybe making it more specific, like I'm going to reduce my anxiety attacks to no more than 3 times a week. And I'm going to do that by setting reminders to use those breathing techniques that I learned in therapy. Visualization, I'm going to meditate for 15 minutes every morning. The M in SMART is measurable. So we want to find some way to make our goals measurable so we can tell if we're actually making progress or not. So it means tracking progress. Maybe creating a log or a journal or a checklist that I can go through every day or weekly or however often. Maybe putting things on calendars, that sort of thing. The A stands for attainable. Is the goal actually attainable? Is it something I can actually do? And when we think about attainability, we want to keep it in what I think of as the stretch zone, meaning that my goal is somewhere between sitting on the couch and not doing anything different and setting my goals so high that there's no way I can achieve them. So the stretch zone is where you're creating a goal that you can reasonably get done. And you're not going to sabotage your success. The R stands for relevant. Is this goal actually relevant to me? Does it actually mean something to me personally? Am I doing this for myself? Is it something that I want? Or am I doing it for somebody else? Questioning, is this something that matters to me and fits my lifestyle and my values? And then finally, the T is time-bound, meaning that you create for yourself a timeline or a deadline with starting points and end points so that you have a framework to know when I've actually met my goals. You have to build in some flexibility too, because if you discover that, you know, there was kind of a stumbling block over here that kind of set me back, you might allow some flexibility to maybe reset your time frame, that sort of thing. When we can start to set smaller goals and kind of chunk things down and then check them off as you go, it can really help to build your self-esteem because you see that you're actually making some progress. So why do SMART goals work? I think specifically for that reason, that we chunk things down and it's less overwhelming. You have clear action steps. You can measure your progress, which increases your motivation to keep going when you see that you're making strides. It helps you to think more about your goals and make them more meaningful. And then when challenges come up and trying to meet some goal, you see that challenges are actually part of the process and not a reason for you to give up. Sometimes it can be helpful if you create a contract for yourself and literally write it out and say, I will, by such and such date, make this kind of progress, and this is how I'll know that it's happening, and this is how I'll know when I meet my goals. Sometimes just writing it down can actually help to solidify that for yourself. You want to be optimistic and talk to yourself encouragingly about setting goals and creating goals, not make them too big or too large. And all of this goes into the service of building mastery and self-efficacy, which is something I'll talk about in another video. It comes down to setting goals that are meaningful to you and gives you a structure so that you can tell when you're achieving your goals. And every time you do that, it makes you feel a little more confident that you can set other goals for yourself. I hope the videos are helpful, and if so, I encourage you to like and subscribe, sign up for notifications, leave comments and let me know what you think and what you'd like to see more of. Until the next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Bye-bye.